Well, hello everybody and welcome back downstairs into my dungeon aquaponic laboratory. Ha ha ha. Today is a random video because I came down to check the aquaponic garden and was quite delighted with what I seen when I got here. So I figured I would grab the camera and share with you guys as to, just what I saw. So while I was down here watering plants on the Darwin table and things, I figured I would stop and check and see how the aquaponic garden is doing. Clearly I've still got my hard water issues and stuff, but what's kind of the focus of today's video is these here clippings from my red currant bush by the back patio that I basically just plunked straight in here with the hope that they would throw some roots, and maybe by next spring I would have signs of life and have one or two of these that I could plant out. Okay, so the other day, we've seen this one's been growing for a while. The other day I noticed, well, this one has definitely got signs of life on it now, doesn't it? And just today I was looking at this here, and I don't know if the camera's really going to do this justice, but it looks to be a little tiny nub on the top of that particular cutting. So I thought, what the heck, let's just dig around at the roots and see what we find looking at these cuttings. Now this one here does not seem to have a lot of hope, but at the same time it's kept a lot of green in its leaves, whereas, oh, perfect time for that to kick in. You know what, I'm just going to turn that off. Give me 1 second. That's fine, I'll just remember to kick that back on again once we get going. Anyway, I left all of the leaves on here, or on all of these cuttings, and as you can see from the stems, there were quite a few points where there were leaves on there, and a few of you very lovingly suggested that I should only leave 4 on there because there simply wasn't going to be enough plant to sustain them. But my position on that was that I was leaving the leaves on here so that the stem could draw life from them and hopefully preserve itself to a point of throwing roots. A lot of the leaves got very nasty and brown. I'm now wishing that I hadn't just recently cleaned up all of the fallen leaves, but it looked like autumn, so I had to do something. But they've basically all kind of gone very brittle, like that one there, because, well, they're dead, right? There's nothing in them. This one here, like I say, I have some hope for it, because look at the flecks still in that. That must be getting something somehow to keep it alive. So let's just, oh yeah, there's an example of one of the leaves from the bottom there. We'll just toss that to the side. I have to clean up my floor here, but let's gently, this is one of my favorite things about aquaponics in general, is it's so easy. Oh, look at that. It is so easy to just peel away the growing material so you can get at these things and find out whether or not you've got roots. Alright, so that's fantastic. Looking at the top of this, the only clue we've got is there's still some flecks and some green in those leaves, but when we look down in the bottom here, alright, so now that I've found those, I'm going to give a pull. Oh, a gentle pull. Oh, see, now that was too much. And I separated roots there. I could feel it. Okay, digging around. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. So I'm obviously going to have to replant that into something else today, but it seems to me like I have definitely rooted that cutting, even though we don't have new growth on the top. So I need to hustle my butt and find a planter for this. But for now, let's maybe just tuck those roots under the mint so they don't get too much light damage. We know this one's got roots. It's a very safe bet that one's got roots. Let's look at maybe one of the more questionable ones here. Alright, this one here. I thought maybe it was worth digging around this morning because I saw that on there, but I haven't actually checked. We still have some flecks in there though. So again, I'm going to just try and peel away. Now that looks like maybe Yeah, that seems to be getting thinner as it goes out, so that is probably root coming off of this very dead looking twig. Yeah, we've got another root coming off the other side there. I can just start to see it's very fine, but it's there. And we'll dig around a little bit. La la la. Excuse me as I step over the bog mint. Oh yeah, look at that. That's what I'm talking about right there. So that one has definitely thrown roots as well. I'm not going to dig up the rest of these, but I would be willing to place solid bets that all of these have rooted for me. And I now have 7 new, well, assuming I can keep them alive until planting season, 6 months from now, I now have 7 new red currant bushes to add to our yard and gardens. And that's fantastic, because, you know, if you look at it from a purely capitalist point of view, this aquaponic garden is basically a filter for my fish tank, right? So anything I get out of it is an unexpected profit, because most aquarium filters don't pay you. You pay for them. So right away you got a bit of a win with an aquaponic garden, which is part of what got me started in them in the first place. But at $4 each, because they were about this size when I bought my discounted red currant from Walmart, regular price $8, you know, on sale for $4, so we'll go with what I paid. At 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 4, we're looking at $28 profit out of the filter from my fish tank. And yeah, based on the production that I've seen, in a couple of years, these are going to be wonderfully productive. I'm going to have berries to show from it all over the yard. It's going to be fantastic. But that said, I do have to keep them alive until I can plant them outside. So I need to find something to plant this baby bush into. Alright, so I'm over here on the workbench, and I've got this kind of set up. The lighting is terrible, but it's for working, not filming. The roots basically reach out to the sides of the pot here. I think this will probably be okay to carry it through until spring. I'm just going to top it up with some potting soil that I've got. And obviously, well, not so obviously, but I'm definitely going to have to keep this very, very moist. So will you balance for me? Kind of poke it in a little bit. So if I'd really thought about it beforehand, which isn't really my style, I probably should not have brought this out just yet, because with an aquaponic transplanting, I do have to keep this really, really moist for a good long time while it kind of gets used to the fact that it can be dry. Because that's not really an option in an aquaponic garden. Like, every 30 minutes the water flows, according to my pumps and timers, and that's just not going to be the case with this thing. So for the first little while, I got to make sure that it's got plenty of moisture available in here, or all of my efforts will be for naught. But not bad. What a great way to get myself some profit and some future gain out of the aquaponic garden in the wintertime. Ha! If I had known this would work this well, I would have started this a couple years ago, and we'd have tons of these things around the yard. So for now, I'm just going to put that on top of the aquaponic garden as kind of a reminder to me that I need to keep this nicely watered like it used to be in here. But that is wonderfully exciting, and it's well, it's leading to new and interesting projects, because it was suggested to me that I should take some of the Haskap berries, the honeyberries, that I have outside that I also want to, well, propagate however I can. Multiply, grow for me! Anyway, it was suggested that I bring some of them in around Christmas time and plunk them in the aquaponic garden. So seeing the results that we've got here, and, you know, it didn't look great at first, did it? I am quite tempted to try that. I might just clip one of the larger branches I need to get out of there anyway. I'll bring it down here. I'll clip it into smaller cuttings that I can put in here, you know, about this size, because they'll have branches, right? So I'll just cut the branches off the side as if it's, you know, its own individual cutting. And maybe even we'll just lay the stem down in the side too, see if I get shoots from that. Who knows? This is super exciting though, and what a great way for me to, well, keep adding to the plants around the property. Fantastic. I will get my edible fence line yet. So there you go. I just wanted to share with you what I'm so excited about today. That is, yeah, it's a lot of potential for you. Let's try that again in English, Mr. Bear. It's a lot of potential for future plants around the property, and as I'm looking to increase the numbers of perennials around here, this is going to be a great way for me to do it. It's not going to diversify the genetics, but we'll get into that in another video because I do have a plan. So yeah. It's good. It's good. It's good. Mr. Bear feels good. All right, if you're still with me, thank you all for joining me on this look at what's going on in the aquaponic garden down here in the basement in my long, cold trudge through winter. If you're new to the channel, feel free to click that subscribe button. If you're interested in this stuff, feel free to click that like button. And if you're really, really bored, scroll down in the description. I got other channels down there you can check out. There are blogs and stuff. So yeah, you know, if you're really bored, there are options. You don't have to be bored. You could dive down the Mr. Bear rabbit hole and find out what is, you know, lurking in those corners. So up to you. Anywho, I'm going to wrap it up and say thank you for joining me and have yourselves a fantastic day.